welcome to Vicky Makes and Builds. I am back this week and I'm back in the realm of the normal sized jigsaw puzzles this week. I just finished up a 9,000 piece puzzle, which took me around about 85 hours to build. So I quite fancy doing a few thousand piece puzzles for a little while. And do some of the smaller ones. So this week I'm very excited about this puzzle. I don't know if you watched my Pink Crypt puzzle video, but at the end of that I gave you a little sneak peek of some of the puzzles I'm going to be doing this year, and this was one of them. Totally self-indulgent, this jigsaw puzzle, because I am going to be building for you today the Witcher puzzle by Clementoni. It's 1,000 pieces and it's a panorama puzzle of 3 of the main characters from The Witcher. The titular character of The Witcher is played by Henry Cavill in the Netflix TV series of it, and very good he is too. And I just love The Witcher. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with The Witcher and don't know what it is, it started out life as a series of books. The Witcher is a character who has undergone several mutations in order to allow him to fight and kill monsters, because they live in a world where there are lots of monsters, and that is how the Witcher makes his living. He goes about killing monsters. Now there is obviously a wider plot which you can discover for yourself if you decide to go and watch it or read it, but it started out life as a series of books by a Polish writer called Andrej Sapkowski, and they're really good books. However, I was not introduced to The Witcher that way. I was introduced to The Witcher through the games. It was also made into games for the likes of the PlayStation and the Xbox, and I played a game called The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which I loved, totally loved, completely immersed myself in that for quite a while. It's really good if you like open world games with kind of quests and side quests and all of that stuff. It's just really good. And so yeah, basically you can consume The Witcher through books, a game, or through the TV series, which is the most recent kind of incarnation of it. But I absolutely love it, and I found this puzzle that Clementoni did of it, and I thought I'm going to have to get that and build it. I'm also a fan of Henry Cavill, so that's kind of a bonus to this whole thing as well. So there we go. I get to puzzle together Henry Cavill's face, as well as the 2 lovely ladies on either side of him, who are also brilliant in the roles that they play as well. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on about it. I could probably go on about it all day. But in my usual style, I shall open the box, I shall have a rummage through the pieces. It's a Clementoni, so I expect it'll be quite good. I'm a fan of the Clementoni brand ever since doing the Disney Orchestra puzzle. So, you know, hopeful that this will be no different in quality, hopeful that this will be really good. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it might be fairly difficult actually, because there's a lot of the same colour in this picture. A lot of kind of greys, blues, blacks. You've got splashes of colour with Yennefer, that's this character with the dark hair. Her eyes are kind of lilac, kind of a violet colour. You've got the Witcher's eyes, which are sort of this yellow. His are supposed to be kind of like cat eyes, but they have really good vision, witches. And then you've got, there's some green leaves in Ciri's picture. Ciri's the girl with the blonde hair. So, and you've got the symbols of them, the wolf's head and the swallow and all that. So, you know, there's a few differentiating things, but there's a lot of the same colours. So I'll be interested to see how difficult this is. I don't think it looks easy, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it'll be fine. So yeah, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to sort. I don't usually sort 1,000 piece puzzles. I may do the shuffle method, but I think probably I'll decide that when I see the pieces. Most of the time, I don't really know quite how I'm going to approach it until I actually see the pieces themselves. So we'll see what happens when I open up the box. But I'll go and do that just now. We'll open up the box and we'll have a look, see what's inside. Okay, right, let's get this opened up. Now then, we've got cellophane around the box, as per usual with a new puzzle. So we'll get that off first. Takes away some of the reflective shine. Right. Oh, it's a lovely box. Lovely, thick, nice kind of texture to the cardboard. And a lovely image. I really can't wait to put this together. So we will remove the lid. There we are. And we will have a look at these pieces. Right, we've got a couple of leaflets. That one is an advert for frames. And this one is the just the usual Clementoni kind of leaflet. Tells you, interestingly, tells you how many pieces are actually in the box. In spite of it saying, you know, 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever. So for a 1,000 piece panorama, which is what this is, apparently there's 990 pieces. So that's unusual. Usually there's slightly more. This one has 10 pieces less because it's a panorama. So 990 piece puzzle. Still not 9,000. So, so that's good. Right, bag of pieces, obviously. So let's get the bag open and pull them all out. Ooh, lovely thick pieces. Oh, right, here we go. So, oh, I've got one stuck. There we go. That one did not want to come out, did it? So I think that's all of them. Pop those over there. Right, just spread them out in the box. I like the kind of the size of the box because I feel like the pieces are spread out enough that they're not all kind of lumped in a pile, you know, in a tiny box. Although, you know, there will still be obviously some shuffling needed, but I do like these panorama kind of boxes that they come in. I love the texture on these puzzle pieces. It's like a kind of a woven, almost woven. You have lines across them, which you can see if you kind of put it in the right light. I'll try and give you a close-up just to sort of see what I mean. But I've always loved Clementoni pieces ever since I did my first Clementoni. So this is no different. They're brilliant. Really thick pieces, nice and sturdy. Few stuck together. You do get that a bit with these, but not too many. And they don't appear to be stuck to the point of damage when you pull them apart, which really would be the most annoying thing if that happened. You know, where you have to, you know, you ran the risk of ripping cardboard if you pulled them apart. But again, not too many. Really good quality, what I would expect. So it's looking good so far. So we'll just have a little scoop through them. Can't open a new puzzle without scooping through the pieces a little bit. Watch I don't flick them out of the box. So I'm looking at these pieces and there's a lot of kind of dark muted colours in this. Sort of nothing particularly bright. I've caught the odd eyeball because the eyes are quite bright in this puzzle, but I think what I'll do is I probably will use the shuffle method on this. There's enough different colours, kind of browns, which I assume is where the skin tones on the faces are kind of in shadow. There's some obvious like kind of snowy white hair pieces, which are obviously belong to Geralt. He's got white hair. That's one of Yennefer's eyes. So yeah, I'm thinking shuffle method with this. Pull out the edges. Not bother with the sorting. That's my go-to kind of default method when I do puzzles usually. So it'll be nice to kind of get back to that. So yeah, I'm just going to get started with this, start by picking out some edges and get this thing put together. I hope you enjoy. Right, so these are the results of my initial shuffle. Got quite a few. I don't doubt for a minute that there'll be some missing from here. It's very rare that I get all of the edge pieces in the first shuffle. It's not exactly a kind of a thorough method of puzzling. Even when I'm sorting, though, sometimes I miss them. So, but I think I've got enough to be getting on with here. So I'll have a go at starting to put these edges together before I head back to the box and try and find a few more pieces. Notice the corners of this one are curved. Just a wee observation there. I've done another Clementoni where it was curved corners. It wasn't a panorama, but it was 1,000 pieces. So yeah, nice touch if you like that. Right, so starting to do the edge just now. Right, so as I said, nowhere near got all of the edge pieces. There's a bunch of black ones there, which I think I could probably slot in, but they're more or less solid black. So I'm just leaving them for now until I've got a few more of them. I've sort of roughly put them where I think they'll go. You can see the swords. There's like a sword that divides each character and it goes from top to bottom, but obviously that could either be on the top or the bottom edge. I know there's one there and there's one there. But I mean, roughly I think they're all in the right place. The only thing that slightly put me off was on Geralt's visage. His name's Geralt, by the way, the Witcher. He's called Geralt. On his face, there's kind of like, it looks like it might be snowing around him. I mean, he does kind of live in the far north, and he's called the White Wolf, and so, you know, I suppose you would associate him with snow, but unfortunately, on his hair pieces, it just kind of makes him look a little bit like he's got dandruff. Which is really unfortunate. I'm sure it'll not look like that once the whole puzzle's together, but I was putting those pieces in thinking, he's got a serious dandruff problem here. Anyway, that's just my silly brain thinking these things. But anyway, there's a few pieces down here I've put together. They look black at first glance, but actually they're a very, very dark brown. And I think that's where you've got like the skin on the character's kind of neck and the bottom of their faces where it's just really shadowed, so it sort of comes out as a sort of browny colour. So I was able to differentiate those from the black pieces, but yeah, I'm going to go back to the box now and see if I can find a few more edge pieces, try and fill that out a bit, and then I'll start to pull out some other kind of chunks of colour and textures and yeah, take it from there. Right, well, this really is a panoramic puzzle. I mean, I know it says it's a panorama, but it's kind of wider and flatter than I thought it would be, but it's pretty cool. I know for a fact that I have some edge pieces wrong. Just the black pieces, all I've got left is them, and they just don't fit in there. And these ones seem to fit, but it's clearly not right because this is the bottom of the left-hand sword, and then obviously the top's away over here, and they're supposed to meet. So I think I have got... Oh, now there it is. There's one bit that I've got wrong. So that obviously needs to come over here, and I think that there are some pieces that need to come, because you see that looks to go there. Yeah, that makes more sense, because that now lines up with that sword. I can pull it away a bit. And then that sword now lines up. Yeah, I just kind of literally discovered that there as I was talking to you. But prior to that, I had it wrong because they were all black pieces and I'd obviously just put them in the wrong place. So I will rectify that just now. And all being well, they should fit. Yes. Okay, so that's the edge done. Edge done. So I've just been continuing using my shuffle method, which is basically just to pick out pieces that kind of jump out at me as being obvious, or, you know, there's maybe a lot of them. So I just kind of grab them so that I have some bits to work on. I tend with that method to start off aiming for certain types of pieces, like edge pieces, for example, and then end up picking a load of others out that I spot. So what I've got on here is a jumble of swords, of which that one I've managed to fit in. This is kind of bits and pieces of a sword, which may or may not go in the bottom here, but more likely will go here because I've barely done this sword. These ones in the middle are mostly these symbols here. The shuffle method that I use is a bit all over the place, really. It tends to start off messy and kind of come together as you go along, but it's just my default way of puzzling. I've done that since I was a kid, so it's nice to kind of get back to that and just kind of relax and do the puzzle at my own pace, you know, with no particular method, just getting on with the puzzle. So I'm really enjoying it. I really am enjoying this puzzle, and I've been listening on my Echo device to songs from The Witcher as well, so it's just making me think of The Witcher and how much I enjoy it. It's making me want to watch it again. So I may have to do that. Don't have the game, unfortunately, anymore, so I can't play it, but I might buy it. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm enjoying this puzzle very much. So I'm going to just crack on with the same method I've been using so far. Picking out anything I recognise, eyes, green pieces, swords, the symbols, the swirly bits, all that kind of thing, and just grabbing them and putting them in as I find them. Okay, so my approach with this puzzle really has been... I mean, it's a puzzle with three big faces, but apart from the eyes, I've sort of done everything else except the faces so far. But I think just kind of at first glance, I just kind of looked at the box and thought, oh, it's a lot of the same colours, you know, and these kind of light blues and greys and silvers and things. And I thought this was going to be quite tricky, but actually, you know, when I start looking at the pieces and upon closer inspection of the box, you do realise that there are a lot more details. So, you know, these swords, they're quite bold lines. So, you know, on the pieces, you've got straight lines, really, and they're pretty obvious. And you've got the runes on the swords, same over there. So, they just kind of leapt out of the box at me, if you see what I mean, and came together pretty fast. And then the other pieces, obviously, that were kind of pretty obvious to the eye when I was going through the pieces were these swirly lines, of which you have one up there and you have one down here. I've got a few others there, just kind of thinner lines. And I've picked out these as well, where there's like little red sparks. Yennefer on this side has those in her side, so I've just kind of put them over there, although I can't really put them in yet. I have done a little bit of the faces. Obviously, the eyes are pretty obvious. Yennefer's got really, like, kind of bold violet eyes. And the lips also have have kind of stood out to me. Geralt, he's got kind of the bright yellow eyes. And Ciri, her eyes are green. They're supposed to be green in the book, although these look kind of grey or bluish green. Yeah, and again, I've got a little bit of her mouth as well. So, you know, a little bit of the faces has stood out to me. And it's kind of a bit weird, actually, having 3 pairs of eyes staring out at you. Bit odd. But hey-ho. So yeah, so I'm really just kind of getting the borders, kind of like frames really for the faces. I'm really just getting those done. I've picked out some green here. Ciri has those on her side, just kind of around her face. What I'm going to do next is put together some of these pieces. These are ones that have got like, it's almost like a textile. And I think they're supposed to be like Ciri's hood. So I'm going to put those together, and I'm going to put a little bit of Ciri's hair together. I've picked out a few of those. But apart from that, I think next I'm going to have to start working on the actual faces themselves. There's a lot of face pieces left now. And obviously pieces kind of around the edge of the faces, but they're very dark. And so, you know, I suspect they'll probably come last. Geralt, the Witcher in the middle, he's got white hair. So I think his hair pieces will be pretty obvious, just like Ciri's, her hair's lighter. So I've picked out a couple of her hair pieces. So yeah, so next probably I'll throw those together. Then I'll be working on things like just kind of the skin, and the Geralt's hair, probably maybe a little bit of Ciri's hair. And then hopefully the rest will come together pretty naturally after that. Dark pieces and things like that around the edge. But yeah, this puzzle's turning out to be a wee bit easier than I thought it would be. I think I might slow down a bit once I start their faces. But yeah, definitely it's kind of coming along quicker than I expected it would. I love these symbols. I can't actually remember what Yennefer's symbol is supposed to be. I know that Geralt's is the wolf, because he's from the Witcher School of the Wolf, and they call him the White Wolf because of his white hair. And I know that Ciri's is the swallow. That's her symbol. I remember that from the games. So that kind of symbol crops up a fair bit in the games, but I cannot remember for the life of me what Yennefer's is supposed to be. I will find out. Next time I talk to you, hopefully I'll be able to tell you. But yeah, I'm really having fun with this so far. It's brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I'll just crack on with it just now. Okay, so just to start with, I've gone for largely really kind of pale skin pieces. So I suspect that a lot of these will belong to Siri. She's got a paler complexion than Yennefer has. There seems to be quite a lot of light shining on her face as well. Geralt's got a pretty pale complexion, but his skin obviously is sort of half covered with facial hair, which obviously the ladies don't have. So his were kind of pretty obvious. There probably will be a few of his pieces in here. But, you know, generally I went for sort of pieces where the skin looked really smooth and, you know, there was no stubble on it. Now, there are obviously a few eyebrows in here. Never done a puzzle with so much facial hair. There's a few eyebrows in here. So, you know, I'm sure there will be some Yennefer pieces and also some Geralt pieces. But, yeah, largely I've gone for kind of the pale complexion pieces. And I'll just keep diving back into the box and pulling out a few more and taking it from there. But that's kind of the direction I've gone to start with. Go. I finished the Witcher puzzle and I've got to say it was like a breath of fresh air building that puzzle. It was just so lovely after doing, you know, quite a labour-intensive 9,000 piece puzzle. Just to sit and do a 1,000 piece puzzle, a brand that I love, you know, with a subject matter that I absolutely love. I just found the whole experience completely and totally relaxing and enjoyable. I don't have anything bad to say about it, really. I thought it was going to be harder than it actually was. Turned out to be not too bad at all. It wasn't unsatisfyingly easy, but it wasn't a struggle. And there was just nothing about it that really frustrated me or annoyed me. I got to say, the Clementoni brand is one of my favourites. It was lovely revisiting the brand again as well, and just coming back to that. And the pieces are just to my taste, really. They're thick and sturdy, and they've got that lovely woven matte finish. So that was brilliant as well. It was my first panorama, Clementoni panorama puzzle. And I'm definitely going to do more of them moving forward, because it was just brilliant. And I actually do have another Clementoni panorama here, the 1,000 piece Disney Orchestra, which is Clementoni. So I will definitely be doing this one, and I'm looking forward to it even more now that I've done the Witcher puzzle. I just didn't use any specific methods. Just my go-to method was the shuffle method, where I just shuffle around, pick a bunch of pieces out, build a bit, go back, and just repeat. And that is how I build puzzles, just kind of naturally. You know, if I'm just doing a puzzle for enjoyment, for fun, you know, when I used to do them as a kid, that was how I did them. And it was just lovely to come back to that. And just do it at my own pace, and do a Witcher puzzle, you know, which I really, really do love. So I was just, the whole experience was brilliant. It took me around about just over 7 hours to finish, which is, again, about right. As I said, I wasn't really rushing it. Yeah, I just thought it was great. I would recommend this for anyone who is a fan of The Witcher, obviously. But not only that, if you're a fantasy fan, generally, I'd say go for this puzzle. It was really good. If you love the Clementoni brand, it was great quality. There was hardly any dust or anything like that. It was just lovely to put the pieces together. So and if you're a fantasy fan and you aren't familiar with The Witcher yet, I would highly recommend watching it or reading it or playing it. It's just so good, just across the board, across the three kind of incarnations of it. It's just really, really good. In fact, I might even frame this puzzle. I really do like it, and I like kind of the finished image as well. So yeah, I don't think I've missed anything out. That's pretty much all I had to say on it. I would like to thank you very much for watching, and if you liked the video, please do leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe as well, and I will see you in the next video.